Become a podcast buddy now and get exclusive access to the new podcast episodes. You can find more information about this on my website schulze-kopp.de.
Welcome to this podcast.
Water Polo Expert Talk. Get the insights. Can you describe? So we are again to describe something. Sorry, just describe maybe for people who are not really able to attend these kind of Olympic Games. Yeah, because Olympic Games is really for each of these athletes is playing water polo or whatever other sports again. Really the big goal. Yeah, so the main goal is at the end, I would like to attend the Olympic Games maybe one time at least. Can you describe these kind of feeling attending these Olympic Games then the first time?
Oh yeah, I mean the first time it's like it's your dreams coming true. Like this is like I remember I think I was 15, 16 years old and I like there was this assignment from a teacher that said like draw something in your notebook that you want to have in the future, draw your dream out in a notebook. So I did. I drew myself in the Rio Games, and so for me, like it's that dream come true moment, and there's that hump of getting over that hump of like you're actually there. You know, it's like everything that you've been working for has come to this, and it's such a unique kind of thing. Like this is the test. This is the time to prove, time to show the world like that all the work that you've put into this sport for your entire life. Like it's now.
Yeah. So I already heard this kind of description already from also other people saying, okay, I would like to describe these kind of feelings attending the Olympic Games for the first time. And this sounds like more or less also because I would like to know what is for you personally. But in general, it says, okay, when I attend the Olympic Games for the first time, it's really, as we mentioned, the dream come true and all these work and efforts at the beginning over the career at this point or until this point is really make sense. Yeah. And it's like you are in the movie. Yeah. So surrounding by all these NBA stars or whatever, tennis stars. You eat in the same cafeteria or taking lunch together with all these NBA stars you're only able to watch on the TV in the past. Yeah. And so this is really then some kind of movie.
No, it for sure is, especially like opening ceremonies when everybody's there, because a lot of the athletes that have a lot of money don't really end up staying in the village. Like the NBA players and the WNBA players in 2016, they all lived on a yacht, and then, it was great. But we did see them for opening ceremonies, and we saw. And we saw the NBA team in Tokyo at opening ceremonies, but like the NBA players, WNBA players, the golfers, the tennis players, like they all stayed in another hotel outside the village, which is like they have the money to do that. You know, it's like
but I think at the end it's not really then the sense of Olympic Games saying, okay, I attending the Olympic Games. In this case, I would like also to use all these kind of social networking, and building connections and talking to people performing other sports than me, for example.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so, I feel like they're missing out. You know, like they're not getting nearly as much of the experience. I think that the rest of us are that actually are living in the village, because like the social aspect of it. Well, at least in Rio was so cool. Tokyo, there's that was one of the things that weren't quite the same because of COVID and everything. And everybody's obviously fearful because if they get a close contact, there's protocol that they have to follow. Like I had a friend of mine that I went to Stanford with, Alex Masilius. He's a fencer. He had a close contact early in Tokyo, and he had to quarantine for 2 weeks. Like through his event, he had to be in quarantine. He was allowed to leave his room for like 2 hours a day to practice, and then he had to go straight back to his room. Like he was
and
the entire time.
At the end of the Olympic Games, then he have to travel back maybe without doing any sports during the whole Olympic Games.
Oh yeah. If you test positive, you're it's over. You're done. But I mean, he never tested positive, but he had a close contact and was like in this. Once he was done, he was able to come back in the village and everything. And I saw him, and it was like just kind of a crazy thing for him. Like, and I was looking for him during opening ceremonies, and I found some of the other fencers like, hey, what's going on with that? Like that's like crazy. I mean, but that was how it was. Like you couldn't, like the social aspect of the Olympics was just, it wasn't quite there like it was in Rio, but it was still super cool. Like I ended up seeing a lot more of the Americans because we had to stay around our building. So we just saw a lot more Americans and talked to a lot of the baseball players and that kind of stuff. And I've followed all of them and seeing their, and now I'm just watching all of their careers. So it was super cool seeing all of these, like all of these baseball players, and now they're like playing professionally, and they're like starting their journey.
Yeah, so because you already mentioned at the very beginning when you say, okay, you played also in several different countries in the water polo league, the point about the culture. Yeah, so and this is also one aspect coming back from the people I already talked with, who are attending the Olympic Games in different countries and also in different cultures for sure, that this is also some big advantage and some big topic saying, okay, I would like to learn about other countries and also these cultures in these countries. Yeah. So,
I mean, it's a huge thing. Like, I mean, like their culture around water polo, the culture around like learning about like how these people interact and everything it's really, it's interesting. I mean, it's fun.
When we are in Europe, heard about some tournaments like the Pan American Games. Yeah, so this is really, which is not so familiar to people coming from Europe. Maybe in this case, you can bring some clearance here for us. Tell us about these Pan American Games. I mean, it's like not really familiar to people from Europe.
Yeah, it's like European Championships. It's just over North and South America. So like we play against Brazil and Colombia and Mexico and Canada, and everybody in North and South America come to these games and it's like a mini Olympics instead of like, it's not, it's all the sports in the same area. So like I've been to two now, because we use it as a qualifier, but it's also used as a qualifier for a couple other sports. But like we had 2015, we were in Toronto, and that was fantastic. Like the venue was incredible. Everything was done really, really well. And Toronto was beautiful. And then we were in Lima for this last one in 2019. And it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. The venue was great. The village was also incredible. It was just, they were just really far away, and you really couldn't do anything in between. So you go, like there was some areas that we were warned not to go into. And it's like, okay, if you're leaving the village, get in an Uber. Don't take these taxis because they're going to rip you off. Just take the Uber to one of these other locations. And it's like, okay, go between point A and point B. Don't walk there. Just go to those places. And the same thing with like the venue. It's like the venue was great, new facility, new pool, beautiful area, like beautiful, like it was beautifully built. Like they had the baseball stadium there. They had like all of these other sports all in this sport complex. And it's like, okay, if you walk 5 minutes away, you don't want to be there. Like, it's a friendly area. So it's like, okay, just A to B, and it was pretty spread out too. So I mean, but it was also it was great. Like Lima was awesome.
Yeah. So, and you already mentioned the 2015, I guess, was it where you won the gold medal? Yeah, with the water polo team. What is the level of importance? Let's say it that way, or is there a level of importance for you, also for the US team, saying, okay, we need to win these gold medal or some kind of medal then during these Pan American Games instead of World Championship or Olympic Games, or what is the difference there?
Well, for us, it's qualifying. It's qualifying for the Olympics. So winning the gold medal is the qualifier to get us in. I mean, if we haven't been in a position to where we've already been qualified through World Championships. Hopefully we can. Our goal is obviously to medal in World Championships so that we can already be qualified, and Pan American Games we will still obviously put the pressure on ourselves to win it, but the qualification from it isn't as necessary. But like the women's team has been in that situation multiple times because they are so good.
Yeah. And
so their qualification, they've done it through World Championships, and then they've come back to Pan American Games, and it's like they still win because they're them.
So when you already mentioned the women's national team, are there any close connections between the men's and the women's teams? Or are there any networking activities or networks or what else going on between the two teams?
Well, I think there will be more in the future after we have the pool built in Irvine. But mostly, like, the people who I know on the team are the people that I went to college with. And there's not many left on the team. Like there's Maggie. Like I went to school with Maggie, and so like I know Maggie, talk to Maggie all the time. And yeah, so she's a good person to know. She's intelligent. I'm a good water polo player, and it's always good to talk to her. But like now that their team has had a lot of people retire for this next round, it's like, oh, I don't know anybody on the team anymore. So it's kind of, I guess, meeting new people and that kind of situation. But it's a little bit different this time.
Yeah. So in this case, maybe for you personally, it's good that you have maybe then the new venue, so that you are able to connect also to the new ladies.
Yeah, hopefully soon. I think I don't know what the timeline is, but there was a very important vote that went through, and that was approved by the city of Irvine. So everything is. I think now I think they're gonna start breaking ground soon. So that'll be great, and the blueprints look amazing. This pool is going to be absolutely incredible. So, and then everybody who's like, we're going to have everything there now. So I think that's going to be the pool for the Olympic Games and everything. So we're really excited for it.
Okay. So when people are saying, okay, you are one of the best shooters and scorers and currently players around the globe, so what does it make with you or for you? So does this kind of statements do something with you, saying, okay, accept this, but I'm really not really think about too much at these kind of statements?
Well, I mean, like, I appreciate the recognition, but it's at the end of the day, it's not a gold medal, you know. Like, I know that, and everybody who I've played against knows who I am and knows they don't want me to shoot the ball. So like, obviously it'll probably increase the amount of attention that I get defensively, and and that's fine because it takes pressure off of our left side, takes pressure off of Ben. And I mean, they take pressure off of me too, because I mean, Ben Halleck he's the best center in the world. It's great to have him on. It's great to work with him, but they have to take him away. They have to drop from somewhere, and at certain points in the game, that's from me. And it's like, oh, goody, you know.
Yeah. So in this case, each of these guys in the pool then in the game has really then the special moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, it's
yeah.
Oh
Don't
no,
want to interrupt you.
It's really great because it helps with. I mean, cause you have to take away something in the game, but if you take away one thing, you give up another thing, and it's being able to find that balance and being able to play the role of a passer and a scorer is super important.
Let's talk a little bit more about your actual club. Yeah, so you moved to France,
Yes.
as we already said at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Why France? So, are there any specific arguments to say, okay, I would like to join France or the new club then in France?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the league's doing really well, and the money's there, and the city is obviously incredible. I'm in Paris.
Yeah.
Like the biggest things to really consider is the competition level. We have the Champions League qualifiers next weekend in Barcelona. So competition level, great. The money is solid. The city is incredible. And the guys on the team are great, so I think it's a good choice.
Yeah. So there are no really bad arguments to say, okay, or negative arguments to say, okay, I would like to not to join you in France or in Paris. Yeah. So we already have heard some of these things you already mentioned right now, that the competition or the level of competition then in a league in France is really growing and developing. Also the different clubs for themselves. And this is when I understand you correctly, then really the case. Yeah. So that the development of the France league is really good over the last couple of years, saying, okay, we have right now 1 or 2 clubs in the Champions League on a regular basis. Yeah. So not by accident or qualifying or whatever. Yeah. So because they are really competitive then to the other clubs coming from Spain, from Italy, from Greece and so on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, this is correct then in this case.
No, I mean, Marseille's last year, Marseille looked really good. They did really well in the Champions League, and I think a lot of people underestimated them, and they shouldn't. They're a very good team. And I mean, now it's my job to try and upset them a little bit in the French league. I mean, they're a good team, and they did really, really well in Champions League last year, and they're looking to expand on that. And I know Hannes Daube is going there for the second half of the season once he finishes up university. So he'll be a great addition for the team.
Yeah. So I think when we say that we need to do a restart also here in Germany with the national team, then we see also really the impact coming from the clubs. Yeah, and also then to try to move or to transform these new start and new spirit and all the new experience also for young players, then from the league to the national team. So in this case, I think, we in Germany, we're not alone with this kind of situation. Yeah, so that you need to try to transform all the efforts from the clubs and from the league, then to bring it to the national team, because the national team is then the team not really familiar people with the water polo seeing them in the TV. Yeah, so that we have really these kind of awareness in the community. Yeah,
no, I mean, it's going through that rebuild is it's a tough process, because I've been a part of a couple myself, and it's I mean, that's one of the problems that we have with USA water polo is that, or with water polo in the US, is everybody who's on the US team has a degree from a really good university. So it's making sure that they're trying to get them to stick around when
yeah, so to give them good arguments to stay with the water polo sport and not to go to the business side of to the money side.
Yeah, it's they've done a really good job now, and I think this year's like, because I was a part of the first one going into 2016, like 2013 we were in a rebuilding year, and then 2017 another rebuilding year, and then because we've had so many people retire, because I mean from the 2016 team I think we had 5 returners, and then from the 2016 team, or from the 2012 team, I think we had like 5 returners between like Jesse and Tony and Merrill, John Mann, and never mind, we had 4. So rebuilding a team with 4 out of 13 guys, like that's tough. Like you're bringing in 9 new players, and then in 2016 we lost 7 guys, and then so it's like they're like I've been a part of that process, and it's I mean it's tough, but I mean going into this next year we have almost everybody's back. I think we have Jesse has finally retired, but we also like Alex Obert moved on, and Alex Wolf moved on. So 3 guys, like we have to fill those spots, and it's like now it's only 3 guys. Like for us, that's crazy, you know.
Hey, restart again. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not as much this time. So I'm really excited to be in the mid part of the rebuild, you know. So it's,
perfect. Yeah. So what are then the next things coming up for you personally? Yeah, so you mentioned already the Champions League qualifying round in games, and this is then the next big thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's the next big thing. We've got Champions League qualifiers next week, and then just November we've got a lot of tough games in November in the French league, and so we've got the next thing we have with the national team is we're doing a tournament in Miami, or from what I've heard and from what we've told everybody, we're doing a tournament in Miami we've got Spain, Italy, and Serbia all coming to Miami for a tournament around New Year's. So I think we're going like 28, 29, 30, 28, 29, 30th of December, and then I think we're going like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of January.
So I guess that it could be not so good teams coming to the US. Yeah. So you mentioned Serbia and Italy, and so it's a good tournament, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, it's great, and honestly it's instrumental for us to grow the sport as well, because we. Especially in Florida, like there's a lot of athletic talent in Florida. You have a lot of baseball players, a lot of football players come out of Florida that are top talents, and we're trying just getting access to that athletic market, you know. And that's one of the big things with Texas, because like and with kids in general, like okay, there's definitely guys who are going to be like suited to play football, but like there's some guys who are better suited to water polo that are still playing football, but we can kind of steal them away. Or guys who are better, like playing basketball, that might be better suited to play water polo, and we can maybe steal them away.
So in this case, maybe then we have really a similar problem. Yeah. So you have the problem with baseball and basketball and football, maybe. So we have main pain point, the main thing that we have to work against soccer. Yeah. Well, European football. So in this case, we have really a big problem from a point of awareness. Yeah, so that not really everybody is aware of water polo in general. Everybody's looking and playing soccer here.
Oh yeah, no, like I have family in the Midwest, and they always make the same joke about like, oh, where do you put the horses? And it's like, okay, yeah, we've all heard this one before. They're not. No idea what water polo is, and we had one of the youth Pan Am or the youth like qualifying tournaments out in Indianapolis. I think we had this last summer, And I mean, that's great to have, just to expand the reach of the sport and everything. And doing this in Miami is going to be huge. I've had a tournament there before, but like not at this level. You know, like I had not junior worlds, but like a junior Pan Am's qualifier for junior worlds kind of thing in Miami before. But it's bringing teams there, showing them a high level of the game, trying to inspire kids. Like I remember the games in like the early 2000s that were in San Diego because I went to them. Like I remember vividly, like Serbia versus the U.S. in La Jolla, like 2004, 2005. Like when I was like 12 years old, sitting in the stands, like, oh my god, I was the kid that ran up to them and like got their autograph and everything. I got everyone's autograph and like put it on my wall back home like in my room.
Yeah. So, are there maybe one last question, because you already mentioned right now that you really also have a good memory for the early games. Yeah. So in the 2000s, are there any, not saying idols, but are there any water polo players you say, okay, I would like to be like this one or that one?
I like, not strictly to one player, no, but like. Like there's guys who I really admired and wanted to be in their position and really like learn from them. Like Jesse Smith, who, I mean, he just finished his 5th Olympics. He's a little bit older than me, but he came back to the U.S. For the birth of his first child, and he came from my club, and he came and helped out in my club like when I was like 16 years old. So I think that whole winter of like 2009, like I got to work with Jesse like every day, and it was, or not every day, but like 3 times a week. And it was awesome. It was so much fun. Like we were scrimmaging and I was playing against him and like having to try and defend against him and like learning what he was doing to defend against me. And it made me such a better player, but it was also like, here's the Olympian that I've had like so much FaceTime with. And then in 2013, I was on his team, you know, like 4 years later, I made the team play with them. And I mean, obviously like there's Tony, who's like there's guys who are on the team like that have been in those positions and have played on all these Olympics, and like those are the guys that you look up to, and like these guys are incredible and like you idolize them. But it's like there's not a lot of guys that I'm a different body type than Tony, so I'm not going to be able to do that. Tony does. I'm a big guy, like I'm, and Tony is he was a lot faster, a lot quicker than me, and I mean that's his game. So like I took what I could from him. I tried to take like the way he shoots the ball. I tried to take the way he fakes, like tried to steal as much as I could from him. And like I tried to steal what I could from Jesse. Jesse's just such a unique guy, and I love the guy to death. He's one of my favorite people in the world. But it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, okay, well, I can try and steal this from him and try and steal this from this. So like really it's like an amalgamation of former players. Like I see myself as an amalgamation of different players and different things, because I try and steal from everybody. Like that's the thing that I tell kids all the time is like, steal from people. You see something from another player, if they're on your team, ask them how they did it and try and take it from them. Ask them what they see in this situation, how to set it up. And if you see something, maybe not everything from like national levels, but like it's still like, okay, how did he do this? What if I do this? How do I do this? And you practice these things, and I try and develop these things and steal these things and adjust them and make them your own. Like that's one of the things about sports that like you need to be told at some point, or some people need to be told at some point. It's like steal from everybody, take everything you can. And like, so I see myself, like I see like a lot of the skills that I have, like I've stolen from or have learned from so many different people in my life.
Yeah. So in this case, maybe it sounds like that this is the same situation like we have with the question before regarding the coach. Yeah. So that you have to steal or to look for each or during the period you work with the coach and also play with the other guy, saying, okay, I need to learn from my teammates. And also to accept or to learn that I have to steal and to adopt these kind of skills from them to my play.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's hugely important to be able to continue to develop as a person. And it's like when I was talking about the puzzle piece, the puzzle's never completed and that's the mindset that as an athlete, everyone has to have, because if you think the puzzle's completed, it's never completed, but if you think it is, you stop growing.
Yeah. And when you stop growing and go not forward, then you stop and go backwards maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah? So you stop to develop yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think this is a good closing statement. Yeah. So then we have the most important closing statement at the end. Many important statements during the talk, but also most of the important ones at the end. Yeah. So I thank you for your time. So it was very, very interesting. So to hear or to get some insight from and let's say it or to state it one more time from one of the best players at the moment. Yeah. So it's.
Thank you.
I stole it to steal it from the press. And yeah, thanks for your time. And it's very, very appreciated.
No, thank you. I really appreciated being on your podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think we have to repeat that somewhere in the future, maybe somewhere in Europe. Yeah. So France is not so far away from Germany.
No.
Good. So thanks again. And I wish you a nice day.
Thank you.
I'm through.